when you were turning me on too. So
Hey,
canceled out.
that was a good interview.
It was. I like him.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. He got some great stories. We don't even have to be there.
Yeah.
I love him. He's such and tells the stories with such passion. I love it. I love it. Hopefully everybody gets here. We sent it. I'm trying to get everybody to where they have to go to one thing every week. I don't have to send them a different thing every week. So I'm hoping everybody gets on here. There's a possibility that it's going to take a while to get everybody, because they're just going to go directly to the website and it's just going to be there. Hopefully. I don't know. Maybe it's not there. Let me go check. Let me go check and see if it's there.
All right.
Let me check that out real quick.
Michael Barr's here.
I wonder how he got on. I wonder if Michael, did you get onto the website or did you just go through that other link?
There's Amber Gables also.
I will tell you this much: if you have Opera, it does not work on Opera. Does anybody actually got Opera though? Most people use Internet Explorer and.
No idea.
You know what Opera is?
I've heard of it. Never used it.
Yeah, my wife uses it. She really enjoys using it for some reason. Well, everything's moving kind of slow. It's like me, a little slow today. Well,
good Lord.
Well, I don't know what's going on. All right, well, there are 4 people that showed up. So Michael Barr said, Bob Rubin, I heard that name in a long time. How you doing, Amber? Good to see you on here. Richard Hood just checked in. Michael Barr said he is on YouTube. All right, so he went through YouTube. Rick Brooks, did you get on? Was you able to get on the website, or did you go through YouTube as well? I'm hoping to be everyone to be able to just every week, you just have to go directly to that page. But I don't even know if it's working on my side. I don't even know if it's working on mine. All right, Jack, let's the old Rodney, he's been sick since Saturday. My computer is running so slow now. I do not know what's wrong.
I'm surprised I hadn't got cut off, but because I've only got 6 out of 10. That's what I've had this whole time, and I don't know why. Because I'm sitting literally right next to the modem, and I'm directly wired to it.
Now it says you have 10 and 10 on my side. So Rick Brooks, you're watching on YouTube as well. I guess it just never worked on there. Let's see here. Now, I asked Rodney maybe an hour ago if he was going to come on. He just now answered me. I'm guessing that meant no. All right. Let's see. Hey, did we do that? We haven't done this one, have we? Or have we?
I don't remember that one.
All right, so we'll do that one. And I don't think we did this one.
Let me enlarge my screen. And maybe if you throw something up there, I can actually see it this time.
I don't think we saw this one, so we'll do these 2. And then
and you're Jack Lord again.
I just continue being Jack Lord. Rodney has a cold, or sinus infection. He's hacking and coughing, and so I don't think it's the plague. I don't think it's that, but he's been sick since Saturday. I think it's all the sinus stuff going on. It says, Jack, let's talk about who makes the best wrestling attire.
Oh, there's a couple. And once you get prices from them, you'll come to me.
How many people do make?
Gosh, there's a bunch of them now, and I tell you why is everybody's buying these heat presses, to do T-shirts with, and they do the heat press designs on tights, and you can knock them out, real quick. Unfortunately, the problem is those they're not made to stretch as much as what spandex stretches. So they'll start peeling within a few months and just basically come off, Of course, the way I do it, everything's cut out by hand and everything's sewn down. I mean, you'll get tired of it long before you wear it out.
All right, we'll do these. We'll do these four right here. All right. Wrestling boots.
Ray, hold on just a minute. Ray, I may not be pronouncing this right. Ray Shavaria, Shavarria. Ace is his nickname, but he's out of Texas. He makes excellent wrestling boots. There's a guy named, if you'll look up, it's all one word, Steve the Shoe Man. He's in Australia. He makes some great boots. He makes a lot of the WWE performers' boots right now, and he has great turnaround time. I'm very picky about who I send people to get boots to.
And I'm making sure there was nobody asking how to get here. So I still didn't get signed in over here. My computer is completely locked up. I don't know how I'm even on at this point, but let's see something here. We are live on our website, so we are live on it. Well, we are live on our website. Wait. I'm hearing myself speak. So,
yeah.
All right, there we go. Let's go back to that. I better turn that off. We'll be hearing me talk the whole time. All right. Michael said that Michael Barjack, polyester is tough to find now.
I have no idea. I don't use polyester.
And he said, Jack, you can translate for us. All right, here we go. Going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Inside Now. We're going to look through some programs, our own collection of programs from Georgia Championship Wrestling. Grew up in Georgia Championship Wrestling from 1973 until 1983, when Ole Anderson fired my father, Ron West, and Les Thatcher the same exact day. He would probably wish he never fired him on that particular day. Before we go over this program right here, though, someone asked on our Facebook page, there were 4 matches, and they were asking the question about, oh, man, that's all they had was 4 matches. But I will tell you, out of the 4 matches, it was still about a 2-hour show. And people said, man, the guys really had to work. Well, they did. On Thursday nights, Rome, Georgia would run at the Memorial Gym, and Athens, Georgia at the J&J Center. They would put about 10 guys on each card. So they had about 20 guys. Now, the territory only had, by the way, Jack's going to translate all what I'm saying later on so you can understand what I said, especially for any northern people. Evidently, we can't be understood in the northern states. I'm Jack Lord again. Let me change it. While we're talking, let me just go ahead and change my name.
Gimmick infringement.
Yes, I'm still in it. Let me just show right now. Let me show this card right here. This was in Gainesville, Georgia, and we've showed this before. Let me go big on this and kind of explain this. As you see, there was only 4 matches on the card. 10 guys on this card. Now, people say, well, now how did this go? I mean, guys had to go 30-minute matches. Well, this first match, Ben Alexander and Ten Drew would be one fall 20-minute time limit. That match would go about 15 minutes. This tag match would be one fall 30-minute time limit. Bill Howard, Carl Fergie against Jerry Stubbs and Mike Stallings. By the way, Jerry Stubbs, Mike Stallings. I believe Mike Stallings is Jerry Stubbs' cousin. Am I correct there, Jack?
Yes.
All right, this match would be one fall 30. It would go around 20 minutes. Georgia TV title, Blackjack Lanza, Bob Armstrong. That would be about a 45-minute time limit, maybe an hour. And they would go somewhere around 25, 30 minutes. Then your main event, it'd go about 30 minutes. People say, wow, that's some long matches. Well, but they told the stories during the matches. They told a story. This would come out to be about an hour and 45 to 2-hour show, because in between each one of these matches, and Jack, you know this to be true, even in Columbus, Georgia, there was some time in between each match.
Yep.
Sometimes 5-10 minutes, sometimes in between each match. I hated that even back then. Do you remember this, Jack?
I do. I remember it well.
I mean, just keep on you thinking, man, is they ever going to come back? I think they were still putting together the finishes. I think that might have been one. Or they were arguing about who's going over. I'm not for sure. But now let's look at this. Now, when you ran Atlanta, now out of these cards right here, now this was Gainesville, Georgia. This was on a Saturday. Gainesville would have ran. Griffin, Georgia would have run. Also, Carrollton, Georgia would have run in 1979. They had 3 shows. So they would get a bunch of local talent to come in and work these shows. People like Ted Allen, Jimmy Powell. Those guys would work on these cards, and they would be the first matches, especially when you were talking about Athens at the J&J Center. Athens J&J Center. You ever been there, Jack?
No.
It was a nightclub, basically. And I don't know that it held no more than 300 people. If it did, I'm surprised it held 300. It was a little bitty place. It was dark in there as a dungeon inside this building. I mean, it was. I always liked going to Rome, Georgia instead. But I always felt scared, even when I went to the restroom. It was like going into a haunted house or something. It was that dark getting into that. Now, I will tell you that this building here, the Athens J&J Center, was a whole lot better than Houma, Louisiana, or La Ronja, Louisiana, at the Coliseum. That place, you had to actually use the restroom on a concrete slab. That's what it was. And the dressing rooms were so small that you had to be careful when you put your boots on. You wasn't putting your boots on somebody else's feet. That's how close you were in La Ronja at the Coliseum. But let's show this right here. This is going to be actually these two shows here, and I'll try to pick both of them up. These shows are together. One of them is on Friday, August 3rd. The other one is Saturday, August 4th. And as you can see, there was talent that wasn't on the other card. So in another town, Ray Candy would have been in another town. So it looks like Killer Cox would have been another town. Austin Idol, Stan Hansen, Bob Armstrong. So you see that they had enough talent, they could run the two towns. And then on Friday, Atlanta City Auditorium, that's where they would run that. Matches were, back then the matches were longer matches. And the people were into them for the whole time. Richard Hood asked this question, and who had the best venue in Georgia? Who had the best venue? I think Atlanta City Auditorium, Jack. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, Augusta, did you ever go to Augusta to the Bell Auditorium?
No, I never did go to Bell.
Almost the same exact atmosphere. The building was almost identical to it. They lost in 1979. It was sometime in 1979, maybe June of 1979. Georgia Championship Wrestling lost the Atlanta City Auditorium. They were tearing it down. They had rats so big. I don't think they was rats. They were gophers. They had them so big in there. They didn't even care when you were cheering and clapping. They'd just come out there and just cheer and clap with you. That's how big these gophers were. So they knocked down the Atlanta City Auditorium. Atlanta was never the same. Georgia Championship Wrestling was never the same in Atlanta. They didn't have that venue to run on Friday nights and then once a month run the Omni. And it really hurt it. And the same thing happened in Augusta. The Bell Auditorium, which was still there, but they did it almost like they did the Memorial Auditorium. They put seats in it that, they elevated the whole thing, and it just killed it. And it hurt Augusta, Georgia as well, because those buildings had wrestling in them since the 1950s.
Yep.
But I'll tell you that Rome, Georgia was a good atmosphere for professional wrestling.
Yep.
As long as they had the ring line. At some point, they took the ring line down. And it just did not have that atmosphere anymore. Did you ever go to a wrestling show in Rome?
I did several times before and after the ring light. So, yeah, I'll testify to that difference.
Yeah. Let's see. Michael Barr, Lawsuit City, Brentford, using the wrong name. Let's see. Where was we at? Michael Barr asked the question, too. Did the same promotion have all those wrestlers? Yes. Georgia Championship Wrestling on Monday nights were run Augusta, Georgia. That was ran by Georgia Championship Wrestling Incorporated, which was owned by Jim Barnett, Bill Watts, Jack and Jerry Briscoe, Paul Jones. There might have been somebody else there that I'm leaving out. Tuesdays was Macon, Georgia, at the Macon Coliseum. That was entirely Fred Ward. Fred Ward actually promoted it. All he did was give a percentage to Georgia. It was called a booking fee. Wednesday was Columbus, Georgia, at the was that the Municipal Auditorium in Columbus?
Yes.
And in Columbus was Wednesday. That again was Fred Ward. He would promote that. It was his show. He just got a booking fee. Georgia Championship Wrestling got a booking fee for booking the talent in it. Thursdays, it was it was Rome, Georgia for years, and Albany, Georgia for years. Albany, Georgia was at a skating rink for many years on Thursdays. Great atmosphere, was spectacular. Well, they either lost the building or at some point during all this, they said they didn't want wrestling there. I don't know exactly why they lost it, but boy, the crowds were incredible in Albany. They quit running Albany, then they ran Athens at the J&J Center, and then sometimes there was for a while there that Rome, Georgia ran, Albany, Georgia ran, and Athens, Georgia ran. All those three deals, and they would use a lot of local talent at that point in time of the year. Friday was Atlanta at the City Auditorium. Saturday morning they would do television. Saturday they would do Carrollton or Griffin, which was run by Georgia Championship Wrestling, and then years later Griffin would move out. Chattanooga, Tennessee would be put in a spot when Nick Gulas sold his territory to Jim Barnett. Sundays, Marietta, Georgia, Cobb County Civic Center. Very easy territory. It's a very easy territory. Everybody wanted to work Georgia Championship Wrestling because you had a $65 guarantee back in 1979, 1976. That was pretty good money to work in Atlanta in those days. So, but remember, Georgia Championship Wrestling was drawing some major houses everywhere they went. So wrestlers were making more than $65 by no stretch of imagination. These guys were probably the superstar on this Atlanta show. He was probably making about $400. So that was pretty good money back in 1979. Let's go through this program real quick, and then we'll move on. But here is Dusty Rhodes, Wrestling 2. Together on this program here, both guys very over. You know what? I may have showed this program at one point. I believe I did.
While we're talking about the $65 though, I did the calculator. That's $240 now.
Oh, that's
a pretty good payoff.
That was a pretty good payoff, but then most guys were making more than that. Georgia was on fire at the time. It's 1979. Georgia was drawing some tremendous houses everywhere we went, and I was selling thousands of programs a week. Thousands. It's making $10 for. I was only 9 years old, but still, I was only making like $10. Dusty Rhodes, Stan Hansen with Gordon Soley. I remember this well. I remember this going on very well. And here is Ric Flair. And I believe this is Ric Flair against Mike Stallings. Ronnie West refereeing. Ric Flair with a lovely young lady. Always styling and profiling. He always did. Here is, I think these are photographs from the Atlanta City Auditorium. I really can't see. Can you see who's in this picture? Because it's over the top of me at this point. Let me see if I can find the. Paul Jones explains to Hanson and Dusty as Jay West looks on. Paul Jones. A lot of people ask who Paul Jones was. There he is right there. Promoter Paul Jones, 1979, was still making matches at the Atlanta City Auditorium. King Kong Moscow, which was tremendous, by the way, against Tommy Rich. Canadian Lumberjack match going on right there with, I believe it was probably was Wahoo and Dusty Rhodes, I would say, against Koloff and Ole Anderson. It could have been Stan Hansen, because I think this is when Stan Hansen turned. So it could have been Stan Hansen, Dusty Rhodes against Wally McDaniel and Ole Anderson. Ole and Ivan Koloff. I'm pretty sure that's what that was. This is when Tommy Rich. They said the guy's name is Jim Foreman, and there's old Mike Jackson going against Larry Lathan. I would say Mike got a win right there. You think Larry Lathan beat him, or do you think Mike Jackson won that match?
There's no telling. No telling. Larry got used a little. He got pushed just enough, to give him some legitimacy, but he didn't win every match by no means.
Here we are again. Bobby Heenan, the Brain with Blackjack Lanza, and there he is beating someone up. And by the way, my father. The referee outfit you see him in right there, he actually stole that ideal from Bobby Heenan. Bobby Heenan would wear those kind of suits to manage in. And he said, "Hey, where are you getting those made at? I think I could referee in those." And everybody got those afterwards. But he got away from the striped shirt and he went to those. He had a maroon one, he had a black one, he had a red one, just different colors of these. And they were pretty expensive back then. And I'm not for sure. What's that place, Jack, that you always talk about that made the
K&H?
I believe that's who made those for
It is.
you know. But if you enjoyed this video, folks, give us the big thumbs up. Subscribe to the page. Go one step further. Hit that notification bell and watch the video that's right down below us. Hey, we went through all kinds of programs and stuff, and people are enjoying it. So we'll do more of this. We'll see you on the next video right here on Pro Wrestling Inside Now. I don't remember which programs I've used and once I have it. You'd think I need to put them up in one spot over there.
I can blow my screen up, but my pixelation isn't good, so I couldn't read.
All right, let's see where we got here, because it's the only one we're going to do, because Wednesdays now I'm gonna try to push the live thing we do on Tuesday. Let's see. I'm trying to see where we were at.
Michael Barr said Carl and Hildegard, which was K&H, which actually sold out. Carl and Hildegard, man and wife, sold out in 1979.
Wow.
Now, there's still somebody running it. I guess whoever bought it, but they don't do anywhere near the business they used to do.
Now, they used to do other people's, right? They did boxing stuff too, didn't they?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they did a ton of the boxing robes, the simple format ones. Yeah, they did all those.
Richard Hood said that Ole was something else. A lot of people had problems with him. If you understood Ole just wasn't going to be your friend. I mean, he just wasn't going to be your friend, because when he wanted to get rid of you, he's going to get rid of you. Yeah. And really, that's not a bad, Jack. You've booked. You really have to turn it off and not be friends with people, or you'll be like Robert Fuller. You'll book the same guys for a year. Yeah,
you can't. I mean, I say that all the time. And I got a lot of friends that are wrestlers, but I don't book very many of them.
Well, I mean, it's just hard to do. It's just. And Ole just didn't want to be your friend. And when he wanted to get rid of you, he wanted to get rid of you. And a lot of bookers had a problem with that. If you go back and look at Robert Fuller, he would be friends with all the people. Yeah. And I don't know that's good. Well, Buck Robley, he had friends.
Well, I just never did it. I especially, well, I never hung out with guys. I never partied. I never did any of that stuff. I came, I did my job, and I enjoyed my time while I was there, but I was ready to go home when it was over with. So when I transitioned over and started booking, it wasn't that big of a change for me. I could keep all that separate. And I learned long ago that people are just not going to like you no matter what, and just do the best you can.
This is true. Matches were actually timed back then. What was the reason? Are you talking about like each match? Yeah, every match would have a time limit. You would do a 15-minute. It was based on how many matches on the card, what you would have. For instance, this card right here, you can see the first match is 20. You had 30, 45. That would have been 60, and the rest of them would have been 60-minute time limits. Yep. And it was done because that 20, they may have went. Bill Howard, Jerry Stubbs might have went the whole 20 minutes, and would have been a time limit draw. Yep. So I think you have to have time limits.
Yeah, well, and there's two different ways. I mean, there was the promotional advertised time, and then there was the actual time that you were given as a wrestler of what you had to go. I mean, you might have a 30-minute time limit, but they only might want 8 minutes out of you.
Yeah.
Or they might want, you to be going home at 29 in a 30-minute time limit match.
Exactly.
So, you had to be aware of what time was.
Yeah, and it was according to how many matches on the card, how
Yep.
long you're going to have to work.
Yep.
You know, 4 matches, yeah, each one of you are going to work 20 minutes.
Well, and that's why you had a legit timekeeper at ringside.
Yeah.
And he knew that his job was to count down that time, you know, to announce so that the wrestlers knew where they were at on time.
I remember one time I got in trouble. I was in Mid-South Wrestling, and I was the timekeeper in a lot of towns. And old Carl Fergie would always do this, which meant shave some time off. Shave some time off.
Yeah.
And I always knew when that happened to shave about a minute off each one of me. 4 minutes, go 5 minutes, gone. 9 minutes, go 10 minutes, gone. Well, I had done that. I had shaved, and he kept on wanting to shave the time. So I did that in 3 or 4 matches, and there are 5 matches in this little spot show, and it's Bogalusa, Louisiana. We're outside. Grizzly Smith, right at the intermission, he says, "You know, I've been timing these matches that you're doing." He says, "That wasn't 5 minutes in between that, about 5 minutes and that 10 minute." I said, "Well, I guess I'm going to stooge on Carl here. I'm going to stooge on him a little bit. He's been telling me to keep on doing." He said, "Well, I don't care what Carl tells you to do. Don't you shave no more time off of it because the show is going to." He said, "We've only been here an hour. What?" I said, "Well, I'm just doing what I was told." He said, "No, you weren't doing what you was told." He said, "You didn't hear that from me." So, Grizzly was the guy at the time, even though all the crazy stuff he was into.
We did a show, Bridgeport, Alabama, one time at the National Guard Armory, and had a really good crowd. It's a totally independent show. And I was main event with a guy named Richard Sarton.
Yeah, I remember
Richard. Richard's one of the Ding Dongs. Great wrestler. And we were going to do a 1-hour time limit draw, because we were both in good shape. We thought we could pull it off. And we did, theoretically. Well, the timekeeper was a friend of his. And I explained to him, I said, "You have to give us the time, because I'm going to be dying at 45 minutes anyway. I know what my limits are." So we're going and we're going and we're going. And I kept thinking, we have got to be close to the hour. And I remember telling Richard to hit me, and I rolled out, and I roll over right on the announcer table. And I look at the guy and I said, "What is the time?" And he looks at the clock and he says, "1 hour 10. And I'm low key trying to tell him. I said, "Well, the time's up. Ring the bell. You know, make the announcement or whatever." And he said, "Well, man, I was having such a good time. I didn't want it to end." And I said, "Well, I do."
I'll tell you what I did. One time, I'll never forget this. Danny Davis, and I was going to play this trick on him. He got so mad at me. This is what I said. He was supposed to. He was in the back, and he was going to go a 15-minute time limit. He's going 15 minutes. He's going to go Broadway. So I said, "Man, I'm going to get him on this." So I started this up. I said, "This match is scheduled for one fall with a 20-minute time." Danny looked back at me, you know. So, and it just so happened, you know, back then we didn't put the announcer's table at ringside anymore, because people would break our tables every time. So we'd always move it to the back so they couldn't do that, you know. And I made sure that I would go 5 minutes. I'd go 6, and I'd go 5 minutes ago. Let's go, man. And I mean, he was getting madder and madder as a thing. And he didn't go for the time limit draw. He just went ahead and got beat during that match after the 15-minute time. And I told him, I said, "Man, I just wanted to give you some exercise." Poor old Danny. Let's see here. Georgia State University bought the Atlanta City Auditorium. Oh, they bought it? Did they? But they knocked it down, didn't they?
Yeah, I remember it being torn down. I guess they built something there.
Yeah, Richard, you were home every night. That was true. You were home every night. Now we didn't. I was just a kid, so we never went to Augusta that often, except for summertime because we had to go to school the next day. Very rarely went to Macon, Georgia. I didn't like Macon. I just didn't. I never liked it. Went to Columbus a lot, but went to Columbus more when it was on Sunday afternoons than we did Wednesday nights. Then Thursday went to all the shows Thursdays. Rome, Georgia mainly was Rome. We did go to Athens a few times, and then Friday we didn't always go to Atlanta because that was where all the big angles were going to be done, and a lot of times it was sold out, and they didn't want your family there taking up a chair. I know that sounds bad, but it was true.
I was, I was in the Army then, and I would about once a month I would get a 3-day weekend pass, and we would leave on Thursday, and we'd go to Rome, catch a show, going back up to the Fort Payne area where I was from, and then I would drive to Gadsden on Friday night, watch the show. And then we would, I'd always plan it where it was an Omni weekend where we'd come back on Sunday and go to the Omni and catch a show there and then drive in. And then I'd make morning formation like this. Oh, so tired.
Well, them Omni cards. There was no way to explain the electricity when that bell would ring.
Yeah.
The people would pop with the bell being rung. They were ready to see this main event, and that's what they paid to see. They wanted to see Ivan Koloff and Ole Anderson to go against Dusty Rhodes in wrestling too. I mean, there were other matches, because now you got to remember the Omni always had a lot of matches on it. I think on this one there's 9 matches on it, and most of them there were only 5. And I believe I never bought a ticket to it, so I don't know, but I believe the tickets were considerably more money, wasn't it, at the Omni?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know how much more than what it would be, but I'm pretty sure there was a whole lot more. Michael Barr, did your dad ever consider? Many times did he consider doing his own promotion. It just cost a lot of money to do it, and a lot of times when we tried in 1996, and both times we tried, we got messed around by the cities. We got messed around by the city of Chattanooga, turned right around 4 months later, and got messed around by the city of Cleveland.
And of course, there was the money opportunities, like the guy from Mississippi that only wanted to run Mississippi and only wanted to use old WCW guys.
Yeah. I mean, so there was opportunities, but then when the circus come along, that really was it. We really made more money in the circus business for 14 years than we did in wrestling business, and they paid us very good for the circus. We could not argue about what we were paid.
Well, your dad wanted me to go on the road, and if I had not been married with kids at the time, I would have.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm glad I did it. Would I go back and do any circus stuff again? Probably not. No, it was a lot of work. A lot of headache, and buying advertising for over 100 markets a year is a very difficult endeavor. So I probably would not do it again. It's because mainly as I've gotten older, I cannot handle as much as I used to be able to. GCW would do dot shows in the metro Atlanta area. Yes, they ran all the way around that. Porterdale, Georgia. That we were in Porterdale, Georgia, and a riot broke out of the free birds. Somebody just went and just grabbed a hold of Michael Hayes by his legs, and Terry Gordy just jumped out of that ring and just kicked him and kicked him and kicked him. Blood was everywhere from that guy, and the police was going to arrest everybody. It was a horrible situation, and they told my father, "You'll never come back to this town again. You'll never come back." And that poor old guy that was beat up, he kept on telling them, no, 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 no. It ain't nobody's fault but mine. I'm the one that did it. Leave them alone. I don't want to press no charges. He said, I shouldn't have jumped. What did I think was going to happen to me? That's what he would say while he was down there, blood just running out of him. He said, it was my fault, so leave it alone. And so my dad had to go to the mayor of Porterdale, Georgia the very next day, and say, well, everybody told us we weren't coming back. He said, well, everybody else don't mean anything. He said, so yes, you will be coming back here. And I think Dad made sure he booked it every week for a couple of weeks. So we showed that he was going to come back there. But at the same time, that used to be a Freddie Miller show. And Freddie Miller left. And Freddie Miller used to book a lot of the spot shows. It was his job to book them. Then he left. I don't know if he got fired. I don't think Freddie Miller got fired. I really don't. I think he went off to do something else. Charles said he finally got in. Charles, I'm glad you finally got in.
Good deal.
But now Charles got an ugly face right there on this.
Must have had a hard time getting in.
I will work on that. I thought I had it worked out. And then Michael told me the day I didn't. He let me know. He says, no, you don't have it worked out. It worked on my end. It just didn't work nowhere else. I never heard of Georgia wrestling until they replaced Mid-Atlantic in the Cincinnati market in 1982. Did you not have cable, Rick? Because wasn't they on cable from 1978?
Yep.
And it was before cable. Basically, before what we think of cable now. Yeah. They were on a satellite or something somehow.
Yeah, it was the first big superstation. That and I guess WGN were, right around the same time.
But Georgia was hot. When they came to Ohio, they set that place on fire. They honestly did. We never went to any of the Ohio shows. But, man, they were doing good business there. But it did hurt Georgia because they wouldn't run – maybe they didn't run Augusta, Georgia. And instead they run Cincinnati or Huntington or something. And it did hurt Georgia. I don't think honestly, I don't think Georgia ever recovered from them going to all of you in here, go back to YouTube and watch these shows on YouTube and comment. It will help bring in other viewers. Yes, it will. It will. If you do any kind of comments on it, it does help us out. Because what happens is if they see that we get a lot of comments, they share it with more people. And they'll just continue sharing it and sharing it and sharing it. And more people who comment, and it can even be bad comments. And usually I will leave a comment bad as long as they don't use profanity. They use profanity. I do cut it off. We had somebody do profanity on our Facebook, and I had to cut it off. Richard Hood said Spartans out of New York used to make wrestling and boxing boots. I know that.
I don't remember
that. Richard Hood said, fellows, the show keeps pausing on my end. I wonder why.
I don't know, Richard, but you could. Never mind. I'm just kidding.
Hey, maybe it ain't really pausing. Maybe it's us pausing.
Yeah.
Same here. Everybody's from the beginning has said that. Is it both ours doing that, or is it just one of us doing it? Because from the beginning, people have said, but sometimes it may not be nothing on our end. It's just StreamYard or YouTube or Facebook or one of them not working right. And you said it was slurring or slurring. That's just because I've been drinking. That's the splurring. He says splurring. No, I'll tell you what. Now, if I took them pills that I took for my back and I tried to do this, there were going to be some slurring. And things will knock you out. You'll be sleeping. And they said they would. I'm sorry that's happened. I don't know why it's doing that. I don't know, because we're not seeing it on our side, are we, Jack?
No.
So I don't know that it's StreamYard. I believe it may be something to do on the YouTube side of it, and because everybody's watching YouTube, so it has to be something going on
The
YouTube.
only thing I've seen tonight or experienced tonight is the audio. Your audio is a little scratchy, but that could be me, not
Well,
not anything else. Yeah.
Is it testing? 63, 64. It could be just something wrong with the mic. If that continues, I'll have to purchase another one. Testing. I hope the little dog hadn't ate through some of my stuff over here. Could happen, by the way. Michael Barr, I was in the Army at the same time as you, Jack. Thanks for your service, and thanks for your wrestling career and the great stories as well.
Thank
you. Charles, the city auditorium still stands. The inside was redone into offices, but the outside walls still stand. Man, no, that's so sad. Yeah. Take a building that had such history to it. They did the same thing to the Memorial Auditorium in Chattanooga. And eventually that building's going to be torn down. You go in there now, it needs so much repair.
Well, in Columbus, they completely razed that building, and built, I think there's an outdoor ball field, on it now, and the new Civic Center's right next door. But, man, I remember going back down there a few years ago, and it was just sad not seeing that old municipal auditorium still there.
Wow.
Lots of great memories.
Yes, guys. Who was the guy that ran pay-per-view shows in Biloxi that flopped?
Is that the infamous Jake the Snake Roberts?
Where he
was in no condition to actually be walking, much less being in the ring. And I don't remember who that guy was. I don't think he done maybe a couple of shows.
If it was done for about 14 years there, I don't know that I ever watched wrestling during that point in time. Didn't have time. I didn't have time to watch it. Michael Barr said it is scratching as you speak. So
I hadn't heard it again in the last few minutes.
Well, maybe I fixed it. Maybe this was too far away from me. Well, we may have to redo then what we did tonight. If that was
no, it wasn't that bad. It's just a tiny scratching sound every now and then. It wasn't constant.
Brian Turner, Jack, is that the NWA title behind you?
That is the NWA Television Heavyweight Wrestling Championship.
Richard Hood, Freddie Miller, be there. You still have that. He still did such a great job when he came to Continental Championship Wrestling in 1987 when Mike Jackson got fired for plugging his own wrestling shows out in the lobby. But he was so good at doing the voiceovers. But, man, ring announcing, he was horrible during that time. He wanted to do commentary so bad that his announcing was commentary. Well, now he's coming down the ring. He's had some great matches in the last few weeks. I remember Dad said, Freddie, just do the announcing. Don't add nothing to it. Finally had to get rid of him. I think, I'm not for sure. Who took his place? Was that when Scott Armstrong took over?
I think so.
I think we left, and I think Scott Armstrong started doing the announcing. I know for a while Cat Collins did it, but I believe that one may have been years later. And then there was a guy from Gaston that did it for a while, and I can't remember his name. Something St. John. It wasn't Michael St. John, but it was another St. John out of Gaston, one of the radio stations there, and I can't remember. Something St. John. Brian St. John, maybe. That must have been a made-up name for everybody on the radio. St. Claudia sounds good. Michael Barr, Georgia Championship Wrestling 705 on it'd be WTBS.
Yep.
They're not, unless Atlanta was playing baseball. Yes. Used to hate it when they were putting them Braves on against wrestling.
Yep.
Made me just hate the Atlanta Braves.
I never wanted to watch baseball because of them.
Take off my wrestling so you could somewhere here, and I'll share these. I think we can get away with sharing these. For years, I had a video cassette player, and I would press record, and I had a little microphone, and the whole time it was on, I would hold it. If I didn't hold it, I laid it right there next to the TV, and I taped a lot of interviews and stuff that was done years ago. I have maybe 300 cassette tapes of nothing but audio of wrestling shows. And I'll have to share some of the interviews and some of the things that we taped back then. That was before we had VHS. We couldn't afford a VHS, so we had to do it with a little video card. But
Lord, I remember buying the first VHS in 1985. It was used, and I still paid $550 for it.
It was crazy. Woo! It was crazy back then how much stuff was. But I'm thinking, I bet I can't play those because I don't believe I have a cassette player. I don't. Do they make a cassette player these days?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I've got one sitting over here beside me that's a turntable cassette combo that I bought off Amazon a year or so ago because I was cleaning out my parents' storage building and I found all my old albums from back in the 70s.
Wow.
So I got like 300 albums down here.
Well, I'll have to find one and do some of those. And also, other things that I did, I used to have a little bitty one. It's a little small, and I had a little microphone, and I actually did commentary during live shows back in 1978 and 79. I would do my own commentary of matches, and I have those as well somewhere. And it'll be matches from Rome, Georgia, Wrestling 2 against Dick Slater, and I would do my own little commentary. And I've got those somewhere. Somewhere in the deal, I have those as well. And you'll notice the crowd noise. Maybe don't listen to the commentary, but listen to the crowd noise. Brian Turner said everything was working fine on his night, and Michael Barr said he noticed no cigar.
No, the cigar fund's running down. Y'all are letting me down here. Y'all are getting here on time and stuff.
Michael Barr said that you can buy one at the Walmart, I guess. I did not know they'd even made them anymore. Do they still make 8-track tapes? Do they still make an 8-track tape?
I actually have an 8-track tape player.
What was the story behind Wrestling 2 knocking out Gordon when he tried to break up Bockwinkel's figure 4 worker shoot? I'm pretty sure that was a work. Yeah, that was it's just to get a little heat on Bockwinkel. What year was that, Charles? It had to be 78, didn't it? 77? Because when did Vern lose the AWA title? Was that when he came in as the AWA champion, or was that when Bockwinkel was the Georgia heavyweight champion? Brent, you need a USB to cassette player from Amazon and put those babies to digital. Yeah, I'd like to do it. I've got. I used to do that, and we have them even back to 1976, when people didn't have VHS recorders in 1976. I actually have things from 1976, 1977. So, country or rock, Jack? We want to know your.
Both actually. I love classic rock. Of course, back in my day, it's just rock. Now it's classic. But I have every Eagles album. Fleetwood Mac, all of those. And then after I joined the Army, I didn't start getting into country music until I was a senior in high school and discovered Willie and Waylon. And so, from the time I joined the Army, the vast majority of the collection I had was country albums. So I got a ton. I like a wide range of music.
I have some VHS somewhere with wrestling tape on. Oh, I've got about 400 of those. I'll let some people borrow some of those. Whatever y'all do, if Charlie Platt asks you to borrow some of your tapes, don't let him, because you'll never get them back. Or the UPS driver. Don't let him have them with you, because he'll never give them back to you. So I quit letting people borrow those, by the way. So he was the AWA champion, and it was 1978. Okay, I remember it happened. I just didn't remember if it was while he was Georgia champion, like we was Georgia champion in 1970. Richard said, Brent, look over top of Brent's box on YouTube as he speaks. Do you see it jumping? Hey, there's something jumping up there? Now, it could be this you're seeing. For some reason, I don't know how this happened, but the camera got closer to me, and I keep on kicking it. I keep on kicking it. I don't know why the thing got so close to me. He said, even when Jack speaks, it is jumpy over the top of Red's box. That's crazy. There ain't no telling what's going on. There ain't no telling. There's always something going on. Technical difficulties. When we do the show on October 8th, I'm pretty sure there's going to be some technical difficulties.
I can't blame Josh. I think he's passed out in the bedroom.
He didn't make a lot of.
He did good tonight.
Yeah, he did good. He was that was good. All right, Jack, you ready to get off here?
Yeah.
It's not about 9:20. Thank you guys so much. We certainly appreciate it. Tomorrow night, we may, instead of doing a program and stuff, you remember the Rustler Deserver newsletter? Remember those, Jack?
I do.
We may look and read over something that I seen today that might be interesting to go back and look over. I think we'll do that tomorrow. We'll do 2 of those tomorrow, because I was just reading it a little bit before we went on there. Thank you all so much. We certainly appreciate it. We'll see everybody tomorrow night. Remember number 94. Get your little number 94s together. I've got mine. And in just a moment, people will know what it is, because I will put it up on the thing. Maybe Rodney will be back tomorrow. I'm not for sure. If not, we'll have to get his number 94. He'll have to send it to us. All right. Thank you, guys. And we'll see everybody tomorrow night.